Well, hello, and welcome to Preparing to Survive and Thrive Homesteading channel with Charlie B. So what are we up to today? Well, I'm going to answer that age-old question of what's for dinner. So what are we doing today? Well, we are going to do something that's kind of like a Cajun pepper steak over some rice. So let me bring you down and show you some ingredients, and I'm going to start cooking it. Okay, so what we're going to do first is we're going to take some oil. I just have some avocado oil. I mean, you can use about 2 tablespoons. I'm just going to kind of eyeball it. Just put some in there. I'm going to get the burner going. So we're cooking inside tonight instead of out on the grill because it's thundering and lightning out there. So there you have it. Let that get warm for a moment. And then we're going to start putting other ingredients in here when that warms up. Okay, so our first item of business here, we're going to add 6 garlic cloves. I chopped them up, pretty small pieces, and we're just going to cook these in the grease. It'll start smelling amazing. Our next item of business, we're going to do about 1.5 cups of onions. Use whatever kind you want. I just cubed some onions. I cut them in 4s, and this is what I ended up with. So there's little different pieces. So we're going to heat this up. It's taking its good old time to start cooking. Our next item is we're going to put peppers in here. Now this is a mixture of bell peppers, banana peppers, and long green peppers. And the cayenne pepper is in this little mess. So, but here's some pictures to show you what I did. So summer's here, and unfortunately, my tomatoes are not red at this moment, and I don't have any in there. You see all these little pieces here? That's the cayenne pepper. Very, very warm. So my tomatoes are not red, but I do have green tomatoes. This is a Old Brooks heirloom tomato. I just cut up one. There's probably about a cup, but I just did one nice size one, so I'm going to go with a cup. I can measure it if you want me to, just to make sure. Let these guys cook a little bit more. But the green tomato is going to give it a little bit more of a zing. It's a little bit over. It's probably about a cup and a half, or yeah, about a cup and a fourth. Okay, so I'm just going to put that in there. I'm just going to saute these in the oil and just let them get done a little bit. Man, I wish you were in my kitchen. This smells so good. So, so good. I also stuck in 1 jalapeno peppers in with the peppers to give it a little bit more of a spicy taste because this is Cajun cooking. Does that smell good? So I'm going to put a lid on this and let them cook a little bit more, and we'll be back. This will probably cook between 7 and 10 minutes, I'm figuring. So this has been cooking about 10 minutes, and I've checked it a few times. So these guys are not like cooked. They are soft and tender. Well, shall I say they're tender? They're not really that soft. So I'm going to turn it down, but I'm going to go ahead and pull these out. Sorry about that. So let me get this. I'm going to actually turn off the burner and go ahead and dip these guys out. So bear with me for a few minutes and I'll be back for the next step. We're back. We've got it and another measuring cup. And I'm turning my burner back on. And if you can hear it, it is raining like crazy out there. I'm going to put about another 2 tablespoons of oil in here. And I'm going to put some steak for a pepper steak. Now, this was already cooked. There's about 4 cups in this container, and it was already cooked. It was some ribeye steaks I had done on the grill. We didn't finish them. Of course, I made too many, so I'm going to cook these guys so they're done. Because we like our steaks normally raw. So we're going to just cook them up here. And they'll be nice and yummy. I did leave the fat on here so they can actually cook down and add a little bit more flavoring to the dish. So we're going to go ahead and put the lid back on and let these cook again for about maybe 5 to 7 minutes, depending on, being that this is already partially cooked. If you're doing it with raw meat, then cook it till it's done and nicely browned. So I've got the meat browned. I did pull out some of the chunks of the fat because I'm going to do something with them here in a second. I am going to pull off the meat and put it in with the vegetables. There might still be chunks of fat in there, but that's all right. It's going to be a wonderful, wonderful seasoned taste. Okay. So you can see it's still good and sizzling. I'm going to go ahead and throw my fat back in there. I'm going to brown that a little bit more and get a little bit more juice out of that. And while that's also cooking, this could be pretty much a one-pot meal other than the rice that we're going to add and serve this over. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to add 2 tablespoons of flour. And I'm going to brown it. So this is going to be turned all the way on to low. I'm getting a wonderful thunderstorm. Now, when you're browning flour to make a gravy or a sauce, you want to really watch it, because if you don't, you end up burning it. And you don't want to burn your flour, because this will make a nice brown gravy sauce to go in with it. Just always keep stirring. So you can also see it's absorbing the fats. Now you can always, if you feel that you need to, you can always add a little bit more fat to this. A little bit more oil if you choose to. I'm actually going to go ahead and, because I love butter, I'm going to go ahead and drop a little bit of butter in this. Because in my world, you can never have enough butter. Seems like the rice is a little bit on, or not the rice, the flour is a little bit on the dry side. So that was about a tablespoon of butter. And we're just going to do it till this is good and brown. Now remember, you do not want to walk away from this. You want to keep stirring it, because this will burn and it will do it right under your nose and very fast. I don't suggest you turn up the heat, because that can also cause it to burn and get too quickly. Ask me how I know all this. Let's just say I've been doing this for a long time, and when I first started it, yep, I would try to rush it and I would burn it. And when you've got all your seasonings in the pan, You don't want to have to start over with browning flour. I just spread it all over. I'm smashing the fat out of these pieces of meat. You can hear them sizzle a little bit. Now this is a Cajun meal, so it's going to have some spice to it. So when you're adding your cayenne pepper or your jalapeno, kind of add it to taste. You know, if you don't like really spicy food, you just kind of don't do it. And my steak already had a bunch of salt and pepper on it and garlic powder. So that's even going to add a little bit more to it. There we go. It's starting to brown nicely. Slow and steady wins the race when it comes to browning flour. So this is what it's looking like. Just keep doing this until you get it the brown color that you want. It's almost there for me. I'm not going to lie to you because I don't want to take the chance of having it going over the edge and get a burnt flavor to it. And if this is your first time to do it, just remember, take your time, keep it on low, slow and steady. Okay. Well, what are we going to do now? Well, we got it browned. I like it. Got the good fat in there, adding some more seasoning and taste to it. I am going to add in 2 cups of beef broth. I'm going to slowly stir this in. Now, I have an old Cajun cookbook, and this is kind of the recipe that's in it. I'm going to finish adding that, but I'm going to stir this in first. I don't want it to get lumpy. So slowly add a cup, and then stir, and then slowly add the other cup, or you end up with lumpy, bumpy stuff. And this will thin out. See how pretty and brown it is? And that is pretty. Okay, so we're mixing this in, and it's still on low. It's pretty well mixed in. Now what we're going to do is all this veggies and the steak, we're going to put that back into it. And we still have one more ingredient that we haven't put in there. Okay, so you know I told you I didn't have any red tomatoes in my garden? Well, I don't. But I have diced tomatoes downstairs. So I'm going to take 1 cup drained of my diced tomatoes and put that right in there. And I'm going to just let this simmer and get all heat up and mix it all together. And then we're going to put this over rice. So I'm going to cook the rice while this is simmering down. Now I'm going to cook it just by the directions on the package. And then I'm going to add a little bit of rice wine to make the rice taste a little bit better. At least that's what my daughter tells me. So we're going to go from there. And I'm going to get the lid back on it. This is going to be amazing. Good Cajun meal on a hot, rainy night. Be back in a minute. Or 10. Okay, so you can see the nice mess in the back, but that's our food. And this is what my plate looks like. The picture you saw was my hubby because his is bigger. So, but let's do the taste test. Now remember, this is Cajun pepper steak. So I got some rice. It's over rice. This is sticky rice with a little bit of rice vinegar in it to make it taste better. So, that was very, very good. Got a little bit of a kick, but not too much. And what you just heard was my daughter tripping over, I think it was Tiger Lily. So one of the cats. So, well, there is, oh, it was Aries, aka Stash, my black one. So there you have it. That's what's for dinner is our Cajun pepper steak. So remember, if you like my content, please like, share, and subscribe. Charlie B signing out, and I'll be seeing you soon.